Welcome to Employee Termination Tips. My name is Christopher Neufeld of Neufeld Legal. And in this particular video, we'll be attempting to address the question of whether you should accept your employer's offer to resign as opposed to be terminated or fired. And it's a very loaded question given that there are so many circumstances that differentiate one employee's situation from another employee's situation. And as such, we are barely going to scratch the surface as to some aspects that need to be considered when you make the determination as to whether you should resign, as your employer is offering you, or you should simply have them fire or terminate yourself. And you got to be looking at carefully at some very key considerations. Number one, are you forfeiting termination pay and or severance pay that would otherwise be due to yourself, whether by contract, by statute, or by common law? Number two, are you forfeiting other pay obligations that might be due to you by your employer that you need to properly consider and determine by simply accepting their offer to resign your employment? Number three, are you going to be ineligible for unemployment? And this is particularly jurisdiction specific because there are different requirements in different locales, whether you're in a particular state in the United States of America, whether you're in Canada or elsewhere. Unemployment has its own rules and its own considerations that needs to be specifically understood and dealt with. Number four, how does this impact your reference letters from your employer and your ability to communicate that? Given the circumstances under which you're being asked to resign, forced to resign, terminated, or fired, can have a very solid impact on what the implications are and how it's perceived. And perception is often critical for a lot of people. But it's also, as we talked about before, the financial situation. If you've got savings set aside, or if you don't have those savings, and you're going to need something, whether it's individually or more significantly, your family, to get through that phase of finding new employment. And how difficult is it going to be to find comparable or new employment? Serious considerations. But if anything, what you should be asking for is to ask for a few days to consider your options from your employer. And once you get the opportunity to explore your options, you need to get the appropriate advice specific to your circumstances and with individuals knowledgeable as to what your circumstances do and impact a decision between resignation or termination, i.e. firing. Because circumstances, facts specific to yourself are absolutely critical. And simply saying there's one generic answer to all this is not going to serve you well. You need to research yourself, but given the timelines you're dealing with, you really need to have professional, knowledgeable advice provided to yourself that will allow you to make those determinations that are consistent with what you need to be doing to make the best decision possible for you and oftentimes for your family in a very difficult and challenging point in your professional life. Thank you.